All right, how's this looking? Are we on? Is it on? Is it happening? Oh, come on. A little wonky, but it's a little jumpy, but it's not bad. You're absolutely right. There we go. It's starting to warm up. It's starting to get settled there. Okay, that's better. All right. Open up my camera. Just the camera. How is everyone today? It's got to think about it. Yeah. I got a Windows computer. It's not. It doesn't run a lot of things at the same time as well as a Mac does. I like a Mac. I don't have these troubles, but I got this. I like it. I got it because my Mac was so old that nothing else was working. I'm still setting up. What do you think? Let's see if I can get some better lights in here. I may be able to, maybe not. That's not helping. Okay, got that. More light here. That's a little better. All right. Dash there. So I got a couple of requests before last week. What in the world is going on here? Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. This wire here. Hold on. It's in my face. That's not going to help. Yeah, that's better. There. I was making a bunch of new stuff. That's why we're a little late. All right. There we go. I give up. Put that there. So I was making new things. I will show them to you. Get up. There we go. Not go there. All right. What are the new things I made? There. Let's see. So I got some new sticker sheets. This is the freebie of the week. You know, everybody who buys something gets why am I so bleached out? Hold on. Everybody gets a sticker sheet this week. I try to have a different thing because a lot of people are repeaters. So I want to, hold on, I'm plugging in my new light. There we go. All right. I've got it. Let's try to set up a new light here. I cannot see what I'm doing. Okay. Every time. I think we're just going to be bleached out today. Nobody cares about my freaking face. There we go. Trying to adjust it. Yeah, look, that's a little better. Yeah, now I don't look so dead and pasty. I got a red light on my face. Let me see if I can change this light to red. Is that better? No, that didn't help. Let's change that one to green. I'm gonna put this one. And that should round it out. Yeah, I don't like that. All right, that's as good as it gets today. Let's see, what do people say? Juggernaut Collectibles. Very good. You don't look like me in the middle of winter when I can be used to direct planes to land. Yeah, there we go. Well, it's tough to strike a balance between you want to light the artwork correctly, which is what people want to see, and light me. And today I look like a ghost. But these are the stickers. So I just got these in the mail today. I ran downstairs. I had to get a whole bunch of stuff today because I did not, I sold out of everything in New York Comic Con. So I had to order books and everything else. And I finally got all that stuff. So I got new books, the same books, but new copies of the same books. And I made, because I always like to have new freebies. So today's freebies are, I made a Decathlon comic book. I decided to start going floppy format. And I'm using the old newsprint paper because I really like old newsprint paper. Everyone else hates newsprint paper, but since I'm giving these away, it doesn't matter if you hate newsprint paper. I happen to like it because that's how old I am. And because that's how old I am, I also put a nice rip-off of the Johnson Smith Company on the back. But it's all ads that I wrote, which was a lot of fun. Hold on. There we go. That is a nice glare. That shows you that it's shiny paper. Shiny paper on the outside and crappy paper on the inside, just like the good old days. And so that's the third chapter of Decathlon. And I also threw in, what is that? Oh, bubble. I always say bubblegum card, but there's no bubblegum. One day I'm going to make a card that's got bubblegum in it. I'll just buy some Wrigley's and throw it in there. I miss the gum. And then what was the last thing I made? There they are. And then, so the last thing I made was I printed a booklet of, I've done this before, but in a more expensive version. But I printed a booklet of collecting some of the early drawings that I've done on this show. And so I'm going to throw that in for free in every copy of everything anybody bought. And I threw in my customer reviews because I love my customer reviews. Everybody, all the reviews mentioned that they liked the packaging, so I've been working harder on the packaging. I think I'm like Tiffany's, where people are really into the box. I think with Tiffany's, you could probably throw anything you want in that box, and folks will be happy. So that's today's goodies. That's what I'm doing. And so here's something, Rant. I just happened to see this today. This is an old seal. I made 200 of these and then ran out of them. So that'll be the envelope for somebody. Somebody will get one of those. And I got that. And then I also got a bunch of Image old Circuit Breakers. It's a comic that I did with Kevin McCarthy. I don't remember what year, a few years back, but I happened to find a box of them, and I have too many of them. People like the paperback more than the floppies, so I'm giving that away. So that's what you get. And then I'm going to find the, see if I can find the certificate of authenticity that comes with everything. Oh, here's the paper. Let me put that aside since we're going to do some 8.5 by 11s today. And one more quick peek. There it is. So there's the famous certificate of authenticity I'm incredibly fond of. So when you buy something, it comes with that, and it's got all the doodads and holograms and serial numbers and all that stuff, and I fill it out here and autograph it there and throw it in the folder along with this fine sticker sheet. The artwork will be on the other side here. And then there's a nice envelope. Did I forget to bring in the nice envelope? Well, many of you have already seen the nice envelope, but it's a beautiful envelope. I guess I did not put any envelopes in here. I'm sealed into this studio. Can I put a request for a sketch card? Oh, a sketch card. I love that idea. Yes, you can. What character would you like on the sketch card? I'll write it down over here. There it is. This is the last thing I wanted to show you. The folks who know, but the folks who don't know, this is the other thing. Some of them are gold. The die cut Vivera thank you card, which comes with more random crap. We're getting too many stickers today. I like stickers. some random not baseball, whatever you call them, trading cards, and a fortune-telling fish, because I always give away I like the fortune-telling fish. My grandpa used to give it to me. So that's what we do today. Let's see, who else has a... My daughter loves the fortune. See? I will send you more fortune-telling fish. I don't know why. I think I got them for my kid, but you have to buy like 100 of them. They're like less than a penny each. And so there's no way to buy one. I have 4 kids, and so I had to buy like 100 fish for 4 kids. And I'll be giving those away till the day I die. All right, that is what we do today. What else do I want to show you? I think that's it for a minute. Maybe I'll show you more stuff between pictures. Oh, let me make a mess here. All right. Putting that on my shelf without moving the camera. Look at me. Big shot. There, I did it. Okay, today's 2 requests. Bring this way down, see if I can. Okay. The 2 requests I got so far today were Thing versus Hulk. So that's the first one I'm doing. The Thing from Fantastic Four versus the Hulk from the Avengers. And I will be hitting the microphone a lot to annoy everyone. Sorry about that. Yeah, put that. Yeah. I have a pencil. What did I do with the pencil? Oh, I have it. There we go. You can see the magical box. This is the magical box. That's my pencil. Okay, I do not need the sharpener. These are some ugly brushes. I'm going to try this one, but I'm going to open up some new brushes today because they are not as pointy as they used to be. And I know the feeling. So, all right. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I'm going to bust open a really big brush today. Find the ink. I also, I had the fan on, but it makes too much noise. So I've turned off the fan, so if I start to melt, you'll know why. If I die, your artwork's worth twice as much, so that's good to know. I just went through all of that, and I did not get the pen that I was trying to find. There's the pen. The hideous, crusty pen. There it is. I might switch my pen point, too. All right, enough stalling. Does it look like I'm avoiding drawing? Okay, I got my eraser. You know, after all the worrying about the lighting, I got a big shadow on my forehead. Anyway, look, it looks like Ash Wednesday here. The cross on my forehead. All right. I'm just catching up here. Rock, Freefall from Gen 13. Great. All right, hold on. Rock, Freefall, Gen 13. And, all right, here it goes. Kyle Baker presents Thing versus the Hulk. It's always good to oh, I'm just queuing up. I want to see if it's simulcasting or not. It does not appear to be. All right, I'm going to close that window. I'm going to close that window. Close that window. Yeah. Yo, you smart people. How do I use the $15 store credit I supposedly have? That's a good question. Somebody help him. I don't know. The $15 get taken off your first purchase. Ah, okay. So that's good to know. So you save $15. All right, let's see. I know what I want. 8.5 by 11. Just reading all the comments. Started. The editions are worth the price of the art. It's true. I know what I want for you to have a joined. I'm sorry, just reading all the. Is it just on outright purchases or bids included? Okay, that's questions for people who know. I do not know. I know drawing. That's all I know. All right, here I go. Enough stalling. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so first I'm just roughing it out, trying to figure out where everything goes. I may be wrong. Let's see if this works. I already hate it. Okay. For those of you following along at home, I do it very rough. Stick figure first, so if the post stinks, I can fix it and throw it out. So now I'm just thinking. The dilemma is I'm thinking like a when you do these at Marvel and DC, if it's two big characters, they like the characters to be like the same size because some people like the Thing and some people like the Hulk. So you can't. I remember when they did those DC Marvel crossovers, they used to obsess over you couldn't have Superman be bigger than Spider-Man or Spider-Man, because everybody's paying for it. So I'm overthinking it. So I'm trying to put this Hulk here. And then the Thing will be there. Here, oh, I know. I'm punching him in the belly. All right. I already hate it. Okay. I'll try it again. I didn't leave room. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Ah! All right, I think I got something. Like I said, it's just really complicated to fit everything in. And there he is. Oh dear. Yeah, that'll go there. Shoulders. I know this is a mess, but it'll get better in a minute. Just trying to. Okay, it's starting to make slightly more sense. There. Okay, now I got a rough idea where things should go. I'll solidify it, tighten it up. And then I get rid of a little bit of pencil because it gets confusing even for me. I can't see what I'm doing. So now that I've figured out the basic pose, this is going to be the Hulk. And for folks following along at home, this is the part where I turn everything into spheres, cubes, and tubes, because everything in the world is made of spheres, cubes, and tubes. And so it's the easiest way to figure out perspective is just exaggerate that. Just so I can figure out, like if you're trying to figure out perspective or a vanishing point on like a round object, it's very challenging. So I turn everything into square objects because then you can have a vanishing point or something. So this is starting to shape up. And let's see. Want to see a Hellboy with a sexy pinup chick from you, Kyle? Oh, that's kind of a funny idea. Hellboy with a sexy pinup. Does he hang out with sexy pinup chicks, Hellboy? I don't actually follow the comic. Wire's a mess. All right. Why is my stomach always in the shot? I am not that fat. All right. The Thing. Yeah, I want, see now, like, here's a good example. I want his head tilted back. So if I was trying to figure out how an oval tilts back, that's a hassle. That's really, to me, challenging. So I make it into a cylinder. And then I can more clearly see, there's the center. And I can figure out that. He looks very upset. He's going to be yelling, not happy. And he's going to punch him in the belly. I do so many of these darn things, like we're, complicated fight scenes, because that's what comics is, but it never gets easier. I like doing the drawings where like 200 guys are beating each other up. I do a lot of those. I think I got that from Kirby. Jack Kirby does that a lot. His fist is a sort of a cylinder. One is a cylinder. Punching. Give him a nice big fist. Another thing I always try to do when laying these things out is have the different sections of the body contrast each other. So, like, you have your rib cage, your pelvis, and your head. And if you don't want something to look like a robot, if you do want it to look like a robot, that's fine. But if you don't want something to look like a robot, you want to make sure that there's not a lot of symmetry going on. That's how if you want something to look dead, you have them to be symmetrical. And, but most people are, one foot is in front of the other, and they have to balance. So if his foot is, like I started with the fist, so if his left fist is coming forward, because he's punching this guy in the face, then his right foot should come forward. Obviously that doesn't always happen in real life, but it just makes it look more lively. And it does usually happen in real life, that we balance. Like when you walk and your front foot, when your left foot goes forward, your right hand goes forward to so you don't tip over. So, and then I again try to exaggerate. So, like his pelvis is turning to the left. So we'll have his rib cage turned to the right, like that. And then if his rib cage turned to the right, we then have his face going back to the other way, left. And I'm gonna have he's gonna be looking downward. And I'm trying to, you don't want to repeat everything. If you repeat things, then it starts to look static, which is, again, if you're looking for something static and designy and stylized, that's fantastic. But if you want things to look like they're really popping and alive, you should make everything move around and overdo everything. So he's really kind of turning way too much. He's doing a lot just so that it really sells the pose. Marvel Comics is no place for subtlety. Everybody stands with their legs like 8 miles apart, and everybody screams. Ah. That's how you make a comic, Marvel comic. Let's see. Is anybody saying anything? You should charge us for the art clinic you are putting on. Oh, I just assumed that the art clinic is the only reason you're going to stick around. So that's why I'm doing it. You got to give people some reason to come by. I always worry that it's just dead air if I'm. In real life, I actually draw a lot faster than this because I don't talk when I draw, but it's kind of boring when I do that. But when I talk, I get distracted, The secret, by the way, if you ever want to get a good drawing with me at a comic convention, is start me talking, because I forget to draw. I mean, or I do draw, but I forget to stop, and then I'll just like keep putting details in because I'm talking to the guy at the table, and then he ends up with freaking Sistine Chapel. I've seen that happen on this show a couple of times. Like, no, I'm putting way too much into this pose. I'm okay. I'm also trying to fit everything into this shot, which is tricky. I'm also completely fudging the perspective. I did not decide where the horizon line was. So now I don't know where his leg goes. I'm going to put the horizon line there. Passes through the knees. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. What the hell? It's not great. I'm telling you though, I'm faster when I'm doing the actual work. If I was doing one drawing every hour for Marvel Comics, I'd starve to death. So, one of these days, I am going to, is what I was saying about talking and then not drawing. I'll tell you later about that, because it requires concentration. But I have a plan to release a new book every week. I'm going to draw it on camera. Oh, this is the thing. And I used to love I used to like the Kirby Fantastic Four. That's what I used to read when I was a kid. I used to like Herb Trimpe. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Herb Trimpe, Hulk. And Marie Severin did a lot of those, like inked a lot of those. And I remember that was what I was reading. When I was a kid, the Hulk reminded me a lot of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I always liked what the hell was that guy's name? Charles Lawton as the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And it's the same kind of idea, the good-hearted monster. But I also heard that Kirby stole the idea from Dr. Jekyll. That was actually where he got the idea. See, when I talk too much, I put on toenails. There was no reason to put on toenails. That was silly. All right, now I got to find my magic pen. Check in on my comments. See, what happened? I forget to look at the comments. Do you sell interior art by any chance? Yes, I might do an interior art show or something like that. That might be a fun thing. I was thinking of doing just a show where I don't draw so much as sell things, like show you guys the stuff I got lying around here. I got a bunch of swell stuff. Ink. Kids like ink. I always worry about ink. Things happen. I ruined a shirt at the... Where the hell did I ruin the shirt? New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con, I spilled some ink on my beautiful dry clean only shirt. And my suit. But I had black pants, thank goodness. All right, here we go. Oh man, I will stay tuned for the interiors, living my dream of being a live auctioneer. That's a dream. Dream big. So you're the cover artist for Romper Room. Yes, I am the cover artist. I did that company is AWA Comics, is run by Axel Alonso, who used to run Marvel Comics. And I like him. We go way back. He used me on Deadpool and Captain America. He keeps me busy. So when he calls, I try to be available. And so I've done a couple of covers for them. I did one for Rumpus Room. I did one for... What the hell was it? I've got it here. What am I... I'm sure it's... Once again, I'm getting distracted. It's here. It's, what the hell was it called? They Chose Violence was the name of the thing. And I did that one, and I believe I did a third one. Yes, I did. Illuminati. Yes, but like with capital ill, like because they were ill. Illuminati. And it was about corruption in the music, like Satanists in the music business, that kind of thing. They make the people sell their soul, and I haven't gotten to the end of it. I only did the cover for the first issue. But my friends Dennis Cowan and Bill Sienkiewicz drew it, and they're very good. And so you should check it out. They always do very good stuff. See, this is what happens when I get distracted and talk. I just drew the Hulk's arm. So now he's going to be the Hulk, and he's going to be the Thing. That's great. All right. There is an issue of Damage Control where I penciled the Abomination, the Hulk's enemy, and I penciled it so loose like this that when it came time to ink it, I forgot that it was the Abomination, and I drew a completely different character. I can't remember who. It was just like some made-up monster. So that's what happens. So this is going to be the Hulk. Let me do this thing before I forget, because I know me. Hold on. He's got 3 fingers. 2, 3. That was dumb. There. 3 fingers. Right? He has 3 fingers. Yes. Okay. That. See, he's got 3 fingers. I don't want to forget. Let me focus a little. Let me just concentrate for 5 seconds. Oh, dear. I don't know if I told you guys about the time I was working on Howard the Duck and what was the other book? Barron's Bunny Books. It was I worked for Milton Glaser who did Barron's books. They were educational textbooks. And this was a book called Let's Do Math, and there were a couple other ones, but they were all like kiddie books. Let's Do Math is the one I liked the best. I remember that. But they had Let's Do Phonics and Let's Learn, geometry or whatever. And we had these little bunny rabbits that were drawn in a very cute, like Hello Kitty style. And so at the same time, so that was my day job. I was drawing Hello Kitty style bunny rabbits. And put my hand in front of the drawing, apparently. So Hello Kitty style bunny rabbits. But then at night, I was working on the Howard the Duck comic book. And Howard the Duck is a cartoon that, even though he's drawn like Donald Duck, he is in a realistic style. It's like Roger Rabbit, where he's got the shading on the beak and everything. Like Donald Duck is flat colors, but this guy had shading and he had wrinkles on his clothes. Like Donald Duck doesn't have wrinkles on his clothes. And so I wasn't sleeping. I was working all day and all night. I had my day job, and I was drawing these Hello Kitty style bunnies, and then all night I was drawing Marvel. And because I wasn't sleeping, I would just get so lost, and I would go to Howard the Duck, and I would draw him in the Hello Kitty style, and then I would go to my other job, and I would draw the Hello Kitty style characters and put wrinkles all over their. And so that's exactly what I just did now, and it's not the first time. I do this a lot. So, okay, now I got to remember this is the Thing. He is now the Thing. See? So I really, now that's hilarious. Because, see, I shouldn't have put fake toenails on the Thing, but I put toenails on him. So it's like I already knew I was going to draw the Hulk. This is so stupid. All right. Okay. No, okay. I get a little mixed up with how many toes the Thing has. I'm giving him 4. I might be wrong about that. I think Fred Flintstone has 3 or something weird like that. That's why I get confused. I'm starting to think he's Fred Flintstone. Okay. is now I'm figuring out the muscles. This is the chest. I don't remember what they're called. Breast. What the hell's that muscle called? That one. All right. Deltoid. Shoulder. Bicep. Okay. And the thing doesn't really have a lot of muscles, but I just nice to know where things are, even if you're not gonna keep them. This will be the last. All right. All right, I got that part done. Let's see. Okay. Now, when I am paying attention, the first thing I do is the hard stuff. The hands and the faces, for me, are the hard stuff. But also, in this case, the feet. Most people wear shoes, so I don't have to deal with them. But this one I have to actually figure out. All right. So there we go. There is his 1 foot. It's a good thing that the Hulk and the Thing have basically the same build too, and they have the same head structure for some bizarre reason. They both have very high noses and a little button nose up and like higher up, more space between the mouth and the nose than people usually, or heroes usually have. Oh, he wears pants. Got those little purple pants. I never understood why the Hulk didn't just buy the next size up. He knows he turns into the Hulk. Get some stretch pants. Get some leotards. Get some jeans. Jeans kind of usually stretch a little. Get some baggy jeans and they tighten up on you. Okay. Yeah, I kind of bullshitted my way through this hand, figuring I'll fix it later. And then it turned out I drew the wrong character. So now I'm going to try and wing it. I don't know. Where'd my factor go? There we go. Figured it. Figured out what's wrong. I want the tube to be facing this way. That's it. And then okay. That's what it was. Because I wanted the fist to be pointing at you, but the arm was pointing the other way. I'm gonna pretend that I'm doing this wrong because simply because this is my first drawing of the day. And I'm gonna get better. But I think I think I saved it. No one will ever know. Sweet. Okay. See, that was all right. Here we go. Start with the outside. Ooh, I can give him a little bit of distortion. I think he's getting punched. He'll close one eye. Again, symmetry is the enemy of life. You know, if you want something to look dead, make it symmetrical. So close one eye. Like, give him a little more action. Yeah, his mouth will be kind of distorted because he's getting punched in the face. You know who was good? Sal Buscema did a really good Hulk. In retrospect, I liked him. I'm gonna Google his hair. Just for the hell of it. Hulk. What kind of hair does he have? He goes through a lot of different hairstyles. Sometimes he combs his hair, sometimes he doesn't. I can relate. All right, okay. I'll give him some bangs. I'm back. And his hair, he should be getting hit. His hair would fly around if he's getting hit. What do they call it? In the animation, they call it the overlapping action. Like hair and clothes and stuff, like capes, they will move at a different speed than the rest of the body, and that's what gives it realism. So if a guy's shaking his head, the hair will be a couple of frames behind. So I always look for opportunities to have things, if there is any loose fabric or loose hair, or you can give them some spit, anything that'll make it look like it's moving. My biggest issue is trying to put movement into a static image. That is always a challenge. And trying to figure out what he can be doing. Is she gritting his teeth, or is he screaming? If I was punching a guy if I was punching a Hulk in the face, I think I would grit my teeth. Sabemos. He is screaming, as we do when we are hit in the face by a rock. There we go. Trying to decide how I'm going to do these rocks. And where's the light source? All right, I'm going to erase this first, and then I'll do the rocks so I can see what I'm doing. brush. Erase it. Let's see what's going on here. With all his super friends there, is no way someone wouldn't get him some super stretch bikes. That's true. I think his girlfriend would get him some. Can you draw anything? That's a good question. Do you mean, can I draw anything? Like, can you draw anything, or can I draw? I can draw pretty much anything if I get a picture of it. I gotta do research for things. Like if it's a pirate ship or something, I have to go find a picture of a pirate ship. You should always find pictures of stuff because you want it to look real. So you shouldn't try to fake stuff. This is the part where I'm erasing the ink. Erasing the pencil and hoping that I do not smear the ink. If I smear the ink, I will work it into the drawing. If I smear the ink, it'll look like they're moving fast. See? So. Look at that, it actually makes a little sense now. Now that I've erased all the pencil, you can kind of see what's happening. All right, that's the nice part. Okay, a little bit more. It's everywhere. All right, I'm going to do the black first. And then I'll go back in and put the rocks. And the reason is that when I put the shadows in, I'm going to use this big. These, by the way, are people always ask, what kind of brushes do you use? These are from Five Below, which means they cost less than $5. But I like them. They're cheap, they're bouncy, and I don't have. I'm really bad at cleaning my brushes. I don't like to clean my brushes. I'm a lazy person, and so these are pretty disposable because they're so damn cheap. I clean them, but I'm just not good at cleaning them. Will Eisner used to use soap and water and everything, but he was using like $20, $50 brushes. If you're using $20, $50 brushes, you got to clean them. If you use $20, $50 brushes, you got to raise your prices. All right, I got my. All right, there we go. A little bit of ink. So I took the biggest brush not the biggest, but a big brush, bigger than usual, because that way it'll fill up more space. I don't have to wait so long. I don't have to take so long. So first, I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to pick the light source. And the way I usually pick the light source, there's two ways. One way to pick the light source is to see what you screwed up and then just decide the light source is in the opposite direction so you can color it black. Now, I do that often. In this case, I'm going to choose the light source that I am not happy with. It is what it is, but this foreshortening on the arm is not particularly convincing. But if I put a shadow on it and then it will give it a more three-dimensional, and it'll seem like he's reaching out of the paper. So that is the idea, is that if he is reaching for, so the light source in that case will be upper right. So if the light source is upper right, then you just color everything in the lower left black. For example, this leg. I'll put more, I'll do more later. But so that. Right now I'm just dumbing it in. I'm trying to figure it out. I like a little bit of dry brush. One of the reasons I like brushes is that the brush does a lot of work for you. It's thick, and it can make it thick and thin and like that, and give it different widths and different movements, and it looks like you did more than you did. Okay, so there's that light source. Oh, that's nice, because that, we're going to cheat. But by putting the shadow there, that should also pop out this guy's, the Hulk's hand, because the other thing we want is contact. And a little bit of rocks flying off. And that. Again, right now, just thinking, trying to figure it out. So these strokes are not the greatest. Now, he's leaning forward, so that stuff should all be in shadow. The shadow would fall over here. I'm going to put a little shadow here. Right now, just thinking, dummying it in. When the ink runs dry, that's when I start doing the dry brush stuff. If I can think of some nice place to put some dry brush. So this is why I'm putting the blacks first, and then I'll put the rocks in, is because I don't want to put a lot of work in putting a lot of rocks, and then I end up covering it up with shadows anyway and wasting my time. It's like Spider-Man, same thing. You put spider webs all over his body, and then you cover up half of the body with shadows. This is going to pop forward. Again, thing I just said about symmetry, I was gonna try and raise one eyebrow. It didn't happen. Hell no. Still have to see this Fantastic Four movie. I don't know if is it on Disney Plus yet. Oh, look, somebody asked me something. Did you ever draw Larry Stroman's strong guy from X Factor? No, I didn't. I never worked on X Factor. I could try that one. I worked on New Mutants for a while, and I know I did an issue of the X-Men, but I think it was like a reprint book or something. It was a story about the Dazzler riding in an elevator with Alfred Hitchcock, and Ann Nocenti wrote it. Here we go. Yeah. I liked him with longer hair. Again, because I was reading it in the 70s. So I'm giving him his old 70s hairstyle. The Herb Trimpe Marie 7 hairstyle. Boom. Punch in the face. Remember the light source. I almost forgot the light source. There we go. Now, that would have been a nice time for the brush to split, but of course it didn't. Doing hair. It's good. If you have a split brush, you can draw fur, things like that. Somebody probably asked you already, who is your favorite character to draw? Oh, gee, I don't know. I guess I like my characters because I design them to be easy to draw and repeatable. When I design a character, I know that I'm going to have to draw it 8,000 times, and so I try not to. I try to make them simple and easy to remember. Like the Cowboy Wally is very He's got a hat and a vest and a black pants, I think. That's another. I just keep it simple. And then a lot of my characters have like one costume color. They have all black or all green or all whatever. Because, again, I don't have to remember it and do stupid things like I just did with this drawing, where I mixed up the Hulk and the Thing and had to fix it later. When I'm working on something like the Avengers or crap like that, I'm always forgetting who wears what. I'll put Thor's boots on Iron Man, and Batman's pants on the Thing. It's a mess. So, and also my characters tend to be pretty girls, because I like to draw pretty girls. They're fun to draw. The first book I did was called Cowboy Wally. It was about a big fat cowboy. This big fat guy. And I thought it was very funny until I did the book, and then I realized I was going to have to draw this guy every day for a whole year. This big, ugly, fat guy. And I was like, I said, from now on, I'm only going to draw things I want to. So I tend to, I pick locations I want to draw. I pick subjects I want to draw. Like everybody, nobody in my books drives a car built after 1970, because I like to draw old cars. So they all tend to drive around in these like 1969 Fleetwoods and weird, Chevy muscle cars and stuff. I also like to draw things that I want to do research on. Like I'm doing an story night now about Japan, and that means I get to read about Japan, and I get to learn all about its 1900s Japan. So I don't even know enough about it yet, but I've been looking at pictures of what it looked like, and so I like learning things. But yeah, I mean, as far as favorite characters to draw, I came in late. Is this a requested drawing? Yes, it is a requested drawing. That was a question. And I just forgot what I was talking about. So, see, I get distracted. There we go. Oh, I remember now. I turned down a Spider-Man job years ago because I just hate drawing all those webs. Not only do you have to draw the webs, but he's always climbing on buildings, which means you're going to have to draw a lot of buildings, a lot of cityscapes, and you just got to be in the mood. Yeah, it's a lot of what I think about when doing a job is like I remember I got offered a army story. Like I gave him a high quote because it's harder to draw army stories because you have to do research on everything. You can't like fake a Black Hawk helicopter or a tank or something. People will notice. And the other thing is that every drawing has about 300 people in it. So sometimes things that you think might be fun to draw. The other thing is things that I think might be fun to draw sometimes turn out to be not so much fun once I do them. Like I really wanted to work on Bugs Bunny, and it was not fun. And the same thing with Mad Magazine. I think the things that I like, when I work on something I like, the problem is that I care how it comes out. Whereas when I'm working on something that I don't know anything about, like I did a Nickelodeon job, Pig Banana Cricket or something like that. I'm getting it wrong. Pig Goat Banana Cricket, I think it was his. Dave Cooper, I think, did the cartoon, and I had no attachment to it because I'd never seen the show. I didn't know anything about it. So if they told me I was drawing it wrong or changed this, I didn't care. But with Bugs Bunny, I have a way I like Bugs Bunny to be, and so I wanted to make the cartoons I wanted to make. I made the Sylvester cartoon I wanted to make, and I didn't like making changes to it because I was too attached, and it's not my cartoon. I shouldn't get too attached. And same thing with Mad. I am a big Mad fan, and they had something they wanted me to do. And I just had a vision for what I'd like to see them do. At the time, my issue with Mad was that they were still repeating the same old stuff in 1990. They're still doing, the same 50s material, and it looked exactly the same. And there were new cartoonists like Matt Groening and John Kricfalusi and stuff that were doing amazing things. And I was like, we need to get some of that into the... But it wasn't my book, So my favorite, to answer your question, I guess my favorite things to do, now that I think about it, are my characters, because nobody can tell me I'm doing it wrong. I also will tend to stick with something like, if you're working on a book for like Marvel Comics or DC Comics and the sales aren't what they hope or whatever, they'll cancel it. And sometimes when I do something and it maybe I believe in it a little more than the audience does, I give it another chance. Like I really think something is good. I won't cancel it. I'll keep working on it. And like I'm doing another Tardigrade. Well, Tardigrade did pretty good, but I think it could do better. And I just, I think that book probably would have been canceled if I'd done it for DC. Just because DC needs much bigger numbers than I do to stay afloat. Is Decathlon Book 3 coming? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is okay. Since somebody brought it up, this was the long story that I was putting off saying. So one thing I have found, I had a good year, but I have found that I did, I've been doing this show and I've been doing a lot of comic conventions, and the great thing is I like doing it and it's working, but when I'm doing it, I'm not doing the book. And so I took a couple of weeks off to do more work on the book. And I got a lot of pages done, and I'm very far in. And I have decided that if I'm going to, because what happens is these shows take 2 days out of the week, because I have to prepare for the show, which takes half a day. Like today, I was printing all those sketchbooks and comic books that I showed you, and stickers and putting together the folders and everything, and cutting pieces of paper in half. This was 11 by 17. I had to cut it down. Anyway, that was half a day. Now I'm here. Tomorrow I'll spend half the day at the post office after wrapping, stuff up. And then, so that's 2 days gone, and then I gotta go see my mother and things like that. I got 4 kids, so, and I got a girlfriend. You should pay attention to your girlfriend, like, once or twice a week, especially if you live with her. And so, the book's just not getting done as quickly. So I had this idea that the freebie every week is going to be a comic book, and that will force me to do 20 pages a week like I used to. When I worked on Plastic Man and Marvel, you got a gun to your head, you just bang it out. You don't spend your time yip-yapping like I'm talking now, and I'm trying to be entertaining, and I like doing it this way, and this is fun. But again, I would starve to death if it's now 8:05. That means I spent more than an hour working on this thing. One drawing. Can you imagine? I got to do 6 drawings per page, and I got to do a 22-page book. That's not going to work. So I've decided that starting next week, I'm going to do a book a week on camera, and just we'll see how that works. So I'm going to wrap up Decathlon. Decathlon is very, very finished. The first 24 pages are completely locked down, and that's what that comic book that I might have showed people is. It's up there now. I'll get it later. But I did, and then I'm up to like 40, 48, 50 pages. So the next book, I'll put that out next week. And so then it should be finished in like two or 3 weeks. And then after that, I got a bunch of new ideas that I'm just going to bang out. So I'm going to do Tardigrade as a series. And I'm just going to start doing 22 pages from now on, and then collect them. But I think the old model, for the last 3 years, I've been putting out a book a week. I mean, a book a year, sorry. And this year I messed up. The book's not out. So to catch up, I'm going to get 2 books done before December. It's a terrible, terrible way to work. But yeah, I'll just get 2 books done before December, and then try to get a good schedule. And that should fix everything. Uh, a rule of thumb is everything always takes longer than you thought it was going to take. So it took a while to figure out how to do this show at all. You got to learn all the tech stuff, and I'm hoping right now that it's sounding okay and looking okay. I'm watching it on the monitor. It seems to be okay. Last week we had all kind of issues, and then I watched the video, and the sound was funky, so I fixed the sound. So the point is that yes, Deathgathlon is coming. There. Angrier. Here we go. Let's see. That sounds great. Moving to floppies for a while. Yeah. I'm going to give them away. I'm not going to sell them. I'm just going to give them away with these $100 drawings. So I might try. I lost my distributor. Basically, is what happened. I used to be with Steve Jeppy. He went bankrupt. So now I need a new distributor. I'm talking to a guy, and that might work out. It's a company called Philbo. It's a new company, and he is local. So, and then I got to find a printer. That's easy. Not sure what the tariff situation is these days. I don't know about anybody else. These tariffs have really they've messed up a lot of my plans. I'm really, worried about ordering something and then having it just stuck in customs and costing twice as much as I thought it was going to. We'll figure it out. But I see that while I was yapping, I figured out how to do the rocks. Look at me. All right. Ribcage. Let's see. That sounds good. Just checking in. You're going to stream it? Yes, I'm going to stream me doing the whole book. I thought it would be fun because I figured maybe I'll edit together. I thought it might be fun if people found out how to write and draw a comic book in its entirety in a week. I think if that's something anybody's interested in, let me know. I think it's fun, and it's how I do it. I use a lot of tricks I learned from guys like Dick Giordano. Again, today I'm goofing around and I'm yip yapping and I'm taking an hour to do a single drawing. That's crazy, but normally there's just tricks and ways that you can just. One thing is using a timer. When I work on an actual job, I just lock myself into a time limit and say, I'm going to do this drawing in a half hour or 15 minutes or whatever. Remember Why I Hate Saturn? I think I was doing a page an hour at Why I Hate Saturn. Not writing, just drawing. And I timed it out. I gave myself 15 minutes to draw the layout in pencil, 50 minutes to ink it, and then 15 minutes to do the outline and then a half hour to fill in the black. I think that's the way it broke down. And I just busted through the entire book. And then Plastic Man, I had to write, pencil, ink, color, letter. Yeah, everything except editing. Although there's a lot of typos, so maybe I did the editing. All right. Here we go. Yeah, there's one error in Plastic Man that drives me crazy to this day. Is a historical inaccuracy that I thought somebody would check. because I did a time travel story, and I couldn't remember when dinosaurs existed, and I was off by a few billion years. But that was, I think I did it like before search engines were a thing. It was like hard to do research. It was either a lack of a search engine or a lack of internet, back when you didn't have internet everywhere. So I was working on the thing, and I just, for some reason, had no access to that information. I'll just find it later. But to this day, whenever I see that page, it just drives me insane. Okay, here we go. Always have to give the thing blue eyes. Very important. Oh dear. You know who did a good thing? Ron Wilson. I used to love the way he did the thing. I believe the magazine was called Marvel 2-in-1. Don't hold me to that. I think that's what it was called. And he did a really good job on the thing. He's had a real knack for it. Some guys are, really good at it. I mean, Joe Sinnott, obviously, is probably the best thing artist, in my opinion. Oh, it's starting to shape up. It's starting to look like an actual drawing. Do you still have any art, and would you sell them from any of your own series like Saturn, Cowboy Wally, I Dead Midnight, etc.? I sold a lot of the older stuff, but I still do books. So anything, I do have a couple of things from the 80s, a lot of stuff in the 90s. I have a lot of Deathcathlon, a lot of Tardigrade. I'm still doing those. Those are both continuing series. I'll look. We'll do a show. I know I brought a bunch of stuff to New York Comic Con, and I haven't unpacked from New York Comic Con. So things are scattered. So I'm not sure exactly what I have. But I got stuff. I'll find it. I know I definitely have a Mad page lying around. I have some old Bugs Bunny stuff, of all things. I want to show you guys that. For anybody who's interested, the Bugs Bunnies I did ended up on Tubi, I guess. I just saw them. I was watching Looney Tunes the other day, because I like to watch Looney Tunes. You wouldn't know it, but I'm a big fan of Tex Avery and that bunch. And so I said, I think me and my girlfriend were going to watch Bugs Bunny. And I turned it on. It was on Tubi. And the first episode was all the jokes, the cartoons I wrote. So that was kind of interesting because I hadn't seen them in a long time. Anyway, I got some of that stuff. And I had a bunch of stuff that didn't make it. Because that's the funny thing. The Tubi show, I did those shows about a million years ago. I did them whenever that Brendan Fraser Bugs Bunny Space Jam sequel came out, called Back in Action. It starred Brendan Fraser from The Mummy. And hold on, I'm just the expression. I try to focus. I try to pay attention when I'm doing it, because it tells a story. I try to give a specific emotion, and I have to kind of feel the emotion, think about the emotion. So, all right, I feel good. I can't remember what I was saying now. Sorry, I got distracted. There. I found out the other day Ernie Colon was the artist on Damage Control of You. I loved that. That was my favorite. I'm sorry, I'm going to read the question. I guess you guys are already reading along, but I'll read it out loud for. I found out the other day Ernie Colon was the artist on Damage Control after you and aped your style. Is that a compliment from him? Were you impressed? Yeah, what happened was, I was just saying before that I like my character designs to be super simple and repeatable because I have to draw. And again, I think that comes from animation. Is if you draw a character in animation, you're going to have to draw that character thousands and thousands of times to make him move. There's 24 drawings in a second. So if you give a guy 5 fingers, you're going to have to draw 5 fingers every time. But if you lose one of the fingers, that's why Mickey Mouse has one less finger. It takes that much less time to draw. And so I took over the book from Ernie. Ernie had done Damage Control before me, and and then Dwayne McDuffie asked me to do it, and I love Dwayne, so I said yeah. And so I did an issue, and I redesigned all the characters in a very simple style so that I can draw it quickly and repeat myself. And so I remove a lot of details and streamline it. And so then I had to quit. I had another job or something. Something came up. And it might have been the Looney Tunes movie or something, but I had to leave after one issue. And so they gave the book back to Ernie. Ernie came back to the book, and Ernie looked at my designs and he was like, this is a lot easier. And I wish I had the note. The note is somewhere. Doggone it. But he had written in the margins of the page where it was going to get cut off and not printed, if you ever see a page of original comic book art, there's like all this margin space where it tells you what page that the book is and what the title of the book is and who the artist is and all these things that they need for, cataloging it. And so he had written up in the corner, thanks, Kyle, this is a hell of a lot easier. And so everybody it was fun to see. And Ernie, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but Ernie was my first favorite cartoonist ever, because when I was like a little kid, my first favorite comic was Casper the Friendly Ghost and Hot Stuff and Richie Rich. I used to read the Harveys. I still read the Harveys that he did. We still buy him the old copies at the store. And yeah, so I have always, and that was probably the first artist I imitated, because you learn to draw by copying other things. And I remember when I was a little kid, I used to copy pictures of Popeye and Mickey, all the things I was reading. So, and I probably was drawing pictures of Casper the Friendly Ghost 60 years ago. I don't really remember, but I was very happy to meet Ernie Colón when I finally met him. And Ernie, by the way, is also one of my heroes, because he is one of those guys who can draw every style. And that is, something I aspire to. Most guys can only do one style. And so a guy like him or Joe Staton, who has done both comedy and done straight stuff. I mean, Ernie can go do Superman, and he can go do Richie Rich, and he's just really great at both of them. He's done so many terrific adventure stories. Another book he did that I enjoyed as a child was called The Grim Ghost. It was Atlas Comics. I used to get a lot of weird comics when I was a kid. I was not a collector of the superhero stuff. My brother liked the superhero stuff. I got more into the superhero stuff when I had to do it for a living. But I always preferred the comedy stuff and the monsters. I like everything except superheroes, to be honest. I like detectives. I read a lot of EC books back in the day. That was my favorite shit. And I like war comics. Joe Kubert and Two-Fisted Tales, all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff I liked. Man. All right, let me look at this and just make some sense out of it. Again, when I talk, I get distracted. I don't actually pay attention to what I'm doing. So there's things like this, like, why is all that there? No one knows. Didn't matter. Didn't help. One of the tricks that Dick Giordano taught me, I think I've mentioned this to people, and we'll see it in action when I do these books, is the way to work with a timer that Dick told me. And this was for inking, specifically inking. He'd get the pencils from, say, Neil Adams or somebody, and so he said, you set your timer, so you figure out how long it takes. Most pages have 3 tiers. There's like 6 drawings, so it's 3 rows, top to bottom, 3 tiers. And so he said, you figure out how long it takes you to ink a tier. I'm Dick Giordano, so it takes me a half hour to ink a tier. So I I set up my clock. I got I still have. I use a wind-up clock. That might be annoying when you guys hear it, but we'll find out. I like a wind-up clock because it gives me more urgency. And so you wait until the hand is either on the 12, the big hand is on the 12 or the 6, so you can start on exactly the half hour. So you start at the 12 or the 6, and then you start inking, just like I said before. You start inking the really important stuff. So you do the faces, the hands, any kind of major prop. Like if a guy's holding a gun, that's important to the story. If a guy gets in a car, that might be important to the story. Things that are important to the story, major things. And then you look at the clock. Oh, after you ink the important stuff, and you look at the clock and you realize, oh my God, 25 minutes have passed and I am nowhere near done. That's when you paint everything else black, because you've already got the important stuff done. And the funny thing is that when you eliminate all the stuff that's not important, it makes it a stronger composition. So adding more black tends to really it focuses the eye. So by having all this bullshit here that was here, like, there was no point to that. Do you want people staring at his leg? There's nothing interesting in the leg. You want to stare at the face and the hands. So either make that the focus by blocking, making everything black, and then you'll focus on the light part. Or you can make it the only black thing. Like I have characters, we were talking about character design. I tend to make characters with dark black hair, because then you have to look at their head. It's a big black shape in the middle of the thing. And then the tardigrade character, the exterminator, she wears an all black overall for that, so that she can be seen. I had to make her blonde. My theory with creating her was she had to be the opposite of the woman from Deathcathlon, because they might end up in a book together. I will probably have some kind of crossover in the future. So if two characters look the same next to each other, then you're going to get confused. So I said, okay, well, everywhere that the Deathcathlon character is brunette, so I made this one a blonde, and the other one had curly hair, so I gave her straight hair, and the other one had a pointy nose, so I gave her a button nose, and et cetera, et cetera. So since she was blonde, I made her outfit black. I hope that was interesting. Let's see. I found out the other day. Oh, okay. I answered that one, the Ernie Colon one. Do you have a favorite EC artist? Somebody asked me what my favorite EC, Chuck Arnold asked what my favorite EC artist is, and my favorite EC artist is, it's either George Evans or Reed Crandall, and I really like both of them together. They did some Classics Illustrated together. I believe The Hunchback of Notre Dame was one of them. And it was... Oh, here's another one. Dick Giordano is no joke. Multiple lifetimes of work. This message contains muted words. Maybe I cursed or something. Yeah, but yes, I love Dick. Dick really liked to teach people too. He would always give you these tips. Everybody I know, Rubenstein, and anybody who dealt with him, Klaus Janson, he would always give them information. Okay, I'm cleaning this up a little now. Again, I suffer from too much detail sometimes. So you gotta clean it up. You gotta streamline it so that people actually don't get lost. It's not Where's Waldo. There's a tendency in comics to add such an alarming amount of detail that you can't actually see what the hell's going on. I'm not gonna say the guy's name. I was gonna, but there's an artist who yeah. For me, nowadays I think we all have to work for thumbnails, because the first time anybody's going to see anything of yours is going to be on their phone in a thumbnail, whether it's reading a comic book or watching your YouTube video or anything. The first thing they're going to see, even this Whatnot, the first thing you see on Whatnot is a thumbnail telling you what the show is. So it has to be able to be seen at 3 inches tall. And so if you just fill it with tons of detail, and the problem with these superheroes is that they have too many colors on their costume. Like I was saying before, if I'll do a character and they got a very dark outfit, like the Exterminator, she's got a black outfit. So if I want her to separate her from the background, all I do is I put her in front of a white background, or if she's in a dark room, maybe I'll put a spotlight on her. Or so, but you make sure that she's got a lot of white space around her, and she'll pop out. And the same thing, if the character is a very light character, then you can just put a black back. And so another thing I do is I'll tend to give all the characters a warm color scheme and then make the background a cool color scheme. And again, that way they don't disappear into the black background. So if I got a guy in a red shirt, I'll make the background blue and blue colors, like blue and purple, and then red and orange would be the other side of the spectrum. That'll pop out, and it won't. Or you can do vice versa. I can give a guy a purple on yellow, or just they have to be opposites. The colors have to be opposites. So the problem is when you're working on, say, Superman. Superman's got red, yellow, and blue. What color can you make the background without some part of him turning invisible, right? If you put him in a blue background, then his body disappears. You put him in a red background, his cape disappears, etc., yellow, and there's no way to... So you always end up giving him a black or a white background so that he pops out. Anyway, so I'll see these drawings and thumbnails that are like super, super duper detailed. I don't know how I got on that. I guess I was explaining why I'm trying to clean this up a little. So now I'm just adding more shadows so that it's more clear what the hell is going on in this ridiculously complicated picture. Especially this guy, because he's got so many rocks, it'd be very easy to get lost in the rocks and not know what the hell is happening. Like, where the hell, right now, it's trouble seeing his teeth, because his teeth are not really separate. So I'll have to... somehow give a little... I might have to pick it out with like a whiteout or something. It's becoming a challenge. All right, now I'm just goofing around. See, this is the part where there's no reason to add all this detail. I should quit. I should stop, move to the next phase. But I'm just going to clean up a little. Like that hand. Yeah, it's really, like you say, it's really funny to, like, if you go back and watch 15, 20 minutes ago, like all the detail that used to be here that is now gone. But then I'll pick out, I just want to give it more shape, more depth. See? Like that. And that. That makes more sense. And this. Second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Put more black, make the foot go back. Looks like it's receding. There. So sad to keep erasing the detail. All that work I put in, gone. All right. Now I'm going to put the white out. I'm going to clean my brush. There it is. Anybody get you to draw the guy from My Day at Midnight? Funny looking dude. Oh yeah, I could draw him. Yeah, I haven't done him. I've done him in sometimes I sell the book with a sketch in it, and I put a sketch of him in the book. I usually put a picture of the girl because I thought that was a good character design. Again, all black. She was all black. I did not want to deal with it. And he was black. See, this is why it's good to, it's 20, 30 years later, and I still remember his costume was white shirt, black pants, black shoes. If it had been a George Perez character, I wouldn't be able to tell you what outfit. Yeah, my daughter dressed as George Perez character this Halloween. She was Starfire. I was not thrilled. But she was off in college. She's off in college. She puts things in my Amazon basket and then tells me to pay for them. This time she didn't ask me to pay for it because she knew I wouldn't like the costume. So she just charged it to my credit card without telling me. She's living her best life at college. Having a good time. Now I'm picking out the highlights. Trying to clean this up, straighten it out. Again, the goal with all this stuff is readability. Everything is designed to make it easier to understand. In comic books and in animation, you want the images to read very quickly because you're skimming through it. You don't have time. If you're reading a comic book, I don't think you have time to figure out what's going on in each drawing. That's going to really slow you down. Same thing with animation. You can't be like, what's that a drawing of? Whereas if you're in an art museum, you do have that time. I could stare at a Georgia O'Keeffe and say, well, what is that? And I could stare at it for, 15 minutes and then, oh, I see what it's a picture of. Now I understand. But that's not good for animation or comics, or at least the kind I do. Corporate shit. There we go. See if we can bring it in a little. I was very happy with the way that white paint went. Yeah. Sometimes you can save it with the white paint. I always say with this process, I have 4 chances to get it right, or 3. I can't remember now. But if I get it wrong in the pencils, I'm not in trouble yet. I can fix it in the line art. And then if I screw up the line art, I'm not in trouble yet. I can still fix it with the black. I can cover it up with the. And then if I screw up the black, then I can still fix it with the white paint. If the white paint doesn't fix it, then I got to throw it out. So this is my last opportunity to salvage this thing. This is my whiteout pen. I love my whiteout pen. I get them from Amazon. I am really struggling with this guy's mouth. That's what we do. There we go. Again, for me, the challenge is how do I separate the teeth out from the rocks? I think I just have to give them a little less rock. It's happening. Oh, questions. Let's see. Did you color the entirety of Plastic Man on? Yeah, Photoshop. I did a different. The first couple issues, I think I did in Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, because I wanted a plastic look. The original concept was I was going to do it all in vector graphics, because I want. So I penciled it. I still have the pen. I'll show you the pencils. Maybe I have the pencils that I penciled. And then I scanned the pencil and I traced over the pencils with Adobe Illustrator because I wanted a really inorganic. I wanted it to look plasticky or computer generated. Was the idea. When I worked on Nat Turner, I did the opposite. I wanted it to look like an old document, so I drew it with pencil on the worst paper I could find, and then I shot the pencil art as line, so that it would break up. It said all the halftones dropped out, and it looked like it was, done. I wanted it to look like it was done 100 years ago. So yes, I did color Plastic Man. Let's see what else we got. Anybody get you to draw the guy from? Oh, I already answered that one. Incredible. Thank you. Incredible. That was nice. I'll take your trash any day. I got plenty of it. If you order something, I throw the trash in the. That's like I say. I got a bunch of unsold comic books and trading cards. I always include because I'm trying to get rid of them. We got a lot of these trading cards. I got a bunch of. When I went Raleigh Comic Con, North Carolina, I got two. They printed 2 trading cards with me on them, and they gave me the entire box. And again, I don't know who needs 200 baseball cards of themselves, but I got them, and so I've been sending them out with my magic fish. So, yes, you can have the garbage. Let's see what else. Oh, dude, I'd love to see the pencils. I was struggling to fathom it while reading it. Okay, I will. I'll write that down. Plastic Man pencils. Remind myself. PM pencils. Okay. Clean up. I'm going to attempt something. Well, maybe I won't. I'm going to try and put a little burst. But, yeah, that's not the way to go. I'll give them a reflected light instead. I like that I can check myself on the monitor. Usually I don't have a monitor. Sometimes when you look at something from a different angle, you can see it differently. It looks good one way, and then it looks good on the paper, and then you see it on the screen, and you say, "Oh, look at that." Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'm almost done. I think that's it. Make his ankles a little. There we go. Force perspective is tricky. You don't want him to look like he's got a stumpy leg or something. A vein. Ribs. Yeah. Okay. Right. What was the book? West Coast Avengers? I think that's the name of it. The ink Al Milgrom. I enjoyed inking Al Milgrom, but he drew the thing. Ink all those crazy rocks. I'm gonna have to go back in on that face. I overdid the whiteout. I'm gonna go back and fix it. Right now I'm just doing the reflected light. See if it's round enough. Okay. All right, that feels goodish. It looks good to me. See, I'm tempted to put more rocks on that hand, but then it's gonna disappear. I know it. I know it. I'm gonna tighten. I'm gonna pop that hand out a little more. That's what I'll do. All right. Which brush should I try this? This is the part where I completely ruin it. This would be great. After all that, I'll just sit here and botch up the face. Here it goes. Okay. Yeah. I believe it. Give him a bit of a clavicle. Clavicle, pop his head out a little more. A bit of impact. Punch him in the belly. I'll give him a little action on the. That's what I'll do. One little starburst, like I said, little. In comic books, when people hit each other, it's like lightning. There. I always like how little pieces of rock fly off the thing when somebody punches. It's a cool thing. All right, I'm gonna autograph it, and then should I run it? I'm gonna run it if that's okay with anybody. All right, 2025. I think think I'll take bets on how far into 2026 I will be writing 2025. Usually the first drawing of 2020, the first drawing of the year, I get the date wrong. That is it. Here we go. Make it a buyer's giveaway. That's a great idea. I'll get right on that. Hold on. All right. Product auctions. All right, I'm running the auction. Start auction. So get ready, folks. You can have this delightful 2-hour-long drawing. Start auction. And start auction. So we'll see if this was worth the time. Let me look and see if it's anything that needs changing. Let me see if we could dim the light a little. It is bleaching out a little today. This is as good as it gets. All right. 2, 1, 0. Oh, look, it's still going. Oh, boy. I should have drawn this a long time ago. I'm going to call Mark. Oh, I'm going to tighten up his toe while we fight. Where's my pen? Oh, it's still going. Good. Okay, I'm going to keep inking this toe then. I don't know how we forgot about the details on his feet. So let me know how it goes. 0. We did it. Okay, we locked in. Who got it? Who got it? Who got it? Does it say who got it? Oh, Sean 717. Fantastic, Sean 717. Now, I don't know. Do you? I know that, Sean, I believe you bought stuff before. I'm going to send you a freebie. I have a sketchbook, and I have a Decathlon comic. I'm going to find those. Hold on. Let me get up and get that. I turned off the camera because I'm not wearing pants. All right, here we go. Camera back on. Okay. Camera goes back. All right, so here, you take the Decathlon. Okay, here it is. Great. Okay, there it is. So that is the 3rd chapter. And like I said, for those of you just showing up, I'm going to start doing these on a weekly basis until I get the damn book done. I think it's going to help me to just start getting stuff done if I do them in 22-page chunks instead of taking a year. Normally, I was doing a book a year, and I missed this year. The year's almost done, and I didn't do my book. And if I had, and pages are done, like 48 pages are done. And if I had released it as a comic book, you would have had 2 chapters. So this is the first 24 pages, and there's probably going to be some rewrites because that's how I do it. So hold on to that. That's what you're getting with the and my sticker sheet, the new sticker sheet, which I'm happy about. There's the new sticker sheet, which I just got in the mail today. So that's what we're giving away. I'm putting this back. Oh, now I got to get more paper. All right, what was the next thing? Can you sign the comic too? Sure, I'll sign the comic too. All right. Now, let's see. What's next? Next, I got to find another piece of paper. I wisely put all my blank paper. Got it all ready. So I wasn't going to do my usual searching for stuff. You know that's entertaining to watch me search for crap. All right, here we go. Putting my stuff back up. One of these days, I'm going to just tape this wire down. Ta-da! All right, now let me remember. Okay. So. Okay. I'm thinking. Hold on. I was going to do the sketch card, but I might have left the sketch cards outside. of the room. But what I can do, I have a backing board. I do. Let's try this. Yeah, that'll work. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually make a sketch card. Come back here. So what I'm doing, I'm going to just trace a card off, and then I'll cut it down. I have a cutting machine and everything. There's the paper. All right. Coming down. See what I can get here. How close can I get? Let's see. I think that's as close as it gets. There it goes. Okay. Look at that gut. There we go. All right, that's as close as I can get the camera. Now we are going, what was it? It was Gen 13. So we will Google Gen 13 images. Yeah, I liked working on that book. I had too many open tabs. Close the tab, close the tab. We got all these open Hulk tabs. Go away, Hulk, go away, Hulk. Gen 13, that's what we want. All right. Oh, come on. There it is. I got disconnected for a moment. All right, here we go. Hold on, we got a question from MP Devil. Possibly more tonight, or at least a chance I had a pre-bid in. All right, I want to address this. MP Devil, what was the pre-bid? When was that? I'll take care of you if you had a pre-bid. Sometimes I have I'm not always sure how this thing works. If he is still here. So no sketchbook sketch tonight? Yeah, I can do a sketchbook. I can do a sketchbook sketch, sure. That's an idea. So let me think. You know what? I'm going to do the sketchbook first because he's got a pre-bid in. That's fair. So here's the sketchbook. What character would you like to see on the sketchbook? And then I'll do the card. And I'll do a little faster. I won't yap so much. I'm talking a lot. Sketchbook. Yeah, all right. See, if it was a comic book, there'd be a line at a comic convention because I talk too much. He's doing yours. So sketchbook tonight. Sketchbook. MP Devil, let me know what do you want? What sketch would you like to see on the sketchbook? While you do that, I will Google Gen 13 and get those. All right. Oh, I did write it down. Look at me. What did I write? Rock and free fall. All right. What character, bro? MP Devil. He might have gone. MP Devil might have split. So I'll go back to the card. I'll hold on to this if he's around. So I'll go back to the Gen 13. What a show. And like I say, I left my cards out there, so I'm going to just draw it sketch card size, and I'll cut it down, and it'll be very nice. And I'll put it in a case. I have cases and everything, and no one will be the wiser. All right. Gen 13, free fall. I'm typing 13. Free fall. Oh, that girl. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember her. I did the cover. Yeah. Oh, where's my cover? I'll just copy my cover. Where? Well, she was naked on my cover, so. Oh, look at that. There she is. All right. I'm picking a nice costume here. All right. Let's see. What shall we do? All right. I'm gonna give her like a interesting pose to. All right. We are. I just say rock when I'm happy. Oh, I see. So there is no character named Rock. Okay. Then that name's available. I think I'll come up with a character named Rock. All right, where? So I've only done one sketch card previous, and the trick is to, as we were talking about thumbnails before, you want to do a pose that works in a really tiny space. Oh my goodness. So tiny. Put her hand out. That'll give her some kind of depth. And I don't know what I'm doing with this other hand. A fist. And I hate that foreshortening. I'll put it right there. And following my rule, this hand is forward, then this knee will be forward. Okay. I am also, by the way, I hate to crop figures in action. Because when you crop characters in action, you do not know that they are in action. If you show a guy running from the waist up, how do you know he's running? If you show a person flying and you crop them here, how do you know they're flying? So I try to fit everything in an action pose. I try to fit the entire, like Jack Kirby. I think he was not a big cropper. He did it sometimes, obviously. All right. That's as good as that's gonna get. Okay. Tubes. Making everything out of tubes so I know where it is. Head. Face. This is a challenge. I like it. To do it so small. have a magnifying glass, which I dropped right before the show. Just as I was setting up, I accidentally knocked my magnifying glass on the floor and it's gone. I said, "Oh, well, I'll worry about it later," because. All right. So there we go. Let's see what we got here. Okay, now I need a little more ink. Do I have another bottle of ink? I do have another bottle of ink. Here we go. Some ink. Oh, let me get rid of that unpin. Yeah. Let's forget to do that. Put the top on the ink. Taking the bottle, top off the other bottle. Arranging my. Here we go. Try something different. We're going to do it, just go straight to brush this time. There we go. She's got a leather jacket. Put that on first. That's good. Okay. Sorry, just setting up my reference photos here on the screen so I can see them clearly. Here we go. Okay, she's got gloves. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Boots. He's doing yours. What character, bro? Just free fall for me. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm catching up on it. MP Devil says, I don't think so. Have two of the sketches in the sketchbook and really want to copy. Oh, still shows up just. Oh, I could just send you the sketchbook that you're in. You don't want a sketch. You just want the sketchbook. That's fine. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, we can do that. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I can do that. We'll figure it out. And this is why people ink with a brush. You can get through it faster. Like I say, a good brush will do a lot of the work for you. Give it depth, 3 dimensions. It's not great. All right. Rib cage. All right, I've been putting off the face. I'll do it now. Okay. Am I showing up? Yeah, I'm on screen. All right. Just trying to find the partner here. Does anybody know that they still make Gen 13? And if they do, does she still have this haircut? This is a very specific haircut that I don't know if people still wear it. So I was wondering if they changed the haircut yet. I was reading Archie the other day. I was amazed. I don't know why Archie's still got the same haircut and the same outfit. It's gone in and out of style like 12 times. I was reading an old copy the other day where Jughead had bell bottoms. That was fun. Bit of ink. Get rid of it before I have an accident. Okay. Oh, this is challenging. This is fun. Didn't she shoot like some kind of? I think I remember her shoot some kind of rays out of her hand. The cover I did, she was like shooting. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Let's see. They have it hashed out, family. This is someone else's your next. Yes, let's get you on. Okay, joined. We're all caught up. All right. And I'm trying to see the reference. Huh. Okay. She's had different kinds of pants. Okay, I want those pants. Oh, okay, I get it. Okay. It's like a one-piece thing. Okay. Talking about thumbnails before, and these thumbnails, I'm having trouble telling if she has a racing stripe or if it's just a highlight. I believe it's just a highlight. She would look cool with racing stripe, though. All right. Oh, I forgot to finish that hand. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, now. Just going to do a little cleanup on that pencil, and then I'll go back in and finish up the black. I have my water in a Coca-Cola bottle so that I don't spill it. I spill lots of things. What you guys just missed a couple of minutes ago was I spilled my black ink. And then I dropped my pen. That's why I'm working with the brush. I'm too lazy to go look for that pen. Fortunately, ink is cheap. I just said I was going to erase, and then I didn't erase. I cleaned my brush so that I could erase, and then I did not. So here we go. My buddy Buzz keeps telling me to get a moderator, and I should. But Sarah is out of the house today. And the last thing she said is, "Oh boy, you'll be free to do your show without me around." Next week. I'm going to make her moderate. Trying to get the dust off without smearing the ink. I done it. Now, brush with the ink on it. The leather technique. I always love drawing leather. Black leather. You gotta have that highlight. It's fun drawing reflective surfaces. There. So many different variations. I like her with, well, okay. All right. There. Let's see. I thought I posted Isaiah Bradley. Oh, I could do Isaiah Bradley. Sure, I'll do that. I like Isaiah. Oh, okay, that's the next one, everybody. That after I'm done with this, Isaiah Bradley, and I'm almost done with this, so I'll get to it. I'm trying to pick up speed a little here. All right. There we go. Take a deep breath. Oh, look at this. I don't know if you can see. Hold on. There's a little hair sticking out of the top. I'm going to try and take it off. All right. I have to put these eyes in. It's going to be a challenge. It's like those guys who draw on a grain of rice. You ever see those? It's like that. Okay, she's got light eyes too. And the light source will be here. Oh, okay. I see. Oh. Never finished up this hand. More black, 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 black. Simplify. Think. If the light source is here, then the shadow is here. Bye-bye highlight. And get rid of a lot of this. Just clarity. You know what? All right. There. Just trying to darken it up a little. There we go. That's better. Oh, now it's popping a little more. Okay. Just thickening it up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now go back in and pick out the highlights. Tighten up that face a little. Now, got my water back. All right. Hiya, helmeted snail. When's the sequel to your Brian Epstein book starring Jeff? You know, you should ask Vivek, the guy who wrote the book. He wants to do a book about Colonel Parker. But I don't know. He wanted to do that before the Tom Hanks movie came out, so he might have. Sorry, cleaning my brush. He wanted to. There we go. So, yeah. So he may or may not want to do a Tom Parker book, Colonel Parker book. Just putting the. Always put the cap back on your ink because you will knock it over, as I did already today. All right. Looking for there it is. The white pen. The magical white pen. Do you have a standard as to how good a script by a different person has to be for you to draw it? I've had very good luck with I've had Alan Moore. Bob Morales was a friend of mine, and we worked together a lot. And so I ended up doing comic books. We mostly did magazine stuff. And so that's how we ended up working together. Who else have I written with? Paul Kupperberg a long time ago. I usually write my own stuff. Very few people write things for me. Alan Moore was probably the only person I can think of who ever wanted me to. I remember years ago, I was looking for work, like 20, 30 years ago. And I called a bunch of people, and none of them, I called a bunch of my friends and asked them to write me something, and none of them, they all wanted me to write. Yeah. I mean, but I did do a recent book. What the hell was it? John Lee Hooker, a biography of John Lee Hooker, and I didn't write that. And I guess I do write things. Generally, if it's a project I like, a lot of times I'll do things for research. You know, I did a Nike job just for money. I didn't write that. Somebody else wrote the Nike. It was a biography of Kevin Durant. So I guess I do occasionally. And I do animation. What am I talking about? When I do animation, somebody else writes the script. Often. Sometimes I write the script. But generally, the thing when I write, I write to my strengths. There's a certain type of storytelling I do specifically that other people don't do. And I think there's a reason that my comics work better when I draw them than when other people write them. You know what I mean? When other people write it, because the way I work, I draw the pictures first. I start from the visual. I always think that the reason you're buying this book is because of the pictures. You know, you could buy plenty of great books with no pictures in them. You know, the wonderful novels, and, you know, Stephen King's got a lot of them. And so if you're buying a comic book, it's because you want to see the pictures. So it's important to me that you have good, interesting pictures. Like, I hate comic books where people are just talking, because you could save yourself a lot of trouble and just not draw the pictures. You know, so if I'm gonna draw a damn picture, which takes time and energy, I try, like, think of a good location. I think of a good, you know, why am I looking at this? If that makes sense. You know, and the reason I draw the pictures first is because I try to get everything into. Sorry, I'm trying to pull out one of my books. I try to get as much story into the actual image. Like this cover, you can kind of course it's glary, but you can tell what the story is. Like, you don't really need any dialogue for this thing. You can kind of see from the expression on people's faces and stuff what the story is. I'll find another example. So I draw these things out first. Like these two pages. Yeah, these two pages don't even have any dialogue because it wasn't necessary. You could see from their facial expressions the kind of thoughts that they're having. Trying to decide whether or not they're going to kill each other. And then, in this villain, you know. So the visuals, I hope, are compelling. You know, they're not all just standing around talking, and it's not the same picture over and over again. And every picture has a reason for existing. I'm trying to find a better. Yeah, so I draw all this out, and you can. Well, you get it. Yeah, okay, here's one. Here's a good example. Okay. So this one is, I drew the sequence out first. Trying to avoid hitting the microphone. I drew the sequence out first. And then I added the dialogue. And so if you look at the pictures, you can see it starts off with a hit, because it's visually exciting, someone getting hit. And then he's yelling at a guy. I know it's kind of tiny here. So she is a detective. She's taking photographs with her cell phone, and she's looking at the guy. But then the idea is that she is undercover, and then the guy recognizes her, that she is dated in the past. But if you look at if you can look at the dialogue, don't look at the dialogue, you can see from the images you can see like what's going on in her head, like that she clearly doesn't want to talk to this guy. He's leaning forward, he's pointing, he's very aggressively, you know, leaning into her space, and she keeps trying to lean away and look away, and you know, the body language, even if you couldn't read, you could tell what was going on. Let's do another couple of pages, then I'll get back to what I was doing. But same thing here. He's again leaning into her. She's looking away. She's very uncomfortable. You don't really. It's not that. And he's holding up his phone, like, "Hey, let me get your phone number." She can figure it out what's going on. And very often, I'll use a camera angle to tell the story. You know, if you. Sorry. Here, same thing. She's talking. They're at a funeral, and there's this coffin behind them is creaking open, and nobody sees that the coffin is opening, but she is reacting to it, and he is definitely getting wound up. He's angry. This guy, they're all acting. That's the point. So anyway, when other people write, they don't do that, because when I did the Sylvester and Tweety, I didn't write a script. I did a storyboard, because what are you going to write? Sylvester gets hit in the face and his face gets flat. It's not, you can't tell if that's funny. It sounds funny, you know, but I know that visually it has to work. There was a scene in Porky Pig where there were a lot of where he got hit and he fell down, and I had him fall down in an interesting, funny way. You know, he landed upside down. He was dressed as disguised as a doctor, so I had him upside down with the stethoscope on his ass, and it just, I can't even describe it. It's funny to look at, and that's the thing that matters with a cartoon. And so that's why I very often don't work with writers, because it's also why I don't really like corporate animation as so much either. Very few times would they let me do the boards first. I did the boards first on Bugs Bunny, and I did the boards first on Phineas and Ferb, and that was a fight. There. Well, that was a rant. Let's see. Did I answer the question? Let's see. Do you have standards to how good a script okay. Alan Moore on what? What did I do? I did a bunch of stuff. Alan Moore. I did Tom Strong, a couple of Tom Strong stories. I can't remember what. It's been 100 years. I know I did some Tom Strong, but the one that I really remember was I did a character called Splash Brannigan. And the thing about Splash Brannigan was that he was a ripoff of Plastic Man. Splash Brannigan was made out of ink. He lived in an ink bottle, and so he could change into any shape because he was made out of ink. He was kind of like Coco the Clown that way, who used to live in an ink bottle. So we actually, there was a cameo by Plastic Man in the story that Alan wrote, because it was a ripoff of Plastic Man. And so then years later, when DC asked me what character I wanted to do, I said, oh, I actually thought I could do a good job on Plastic Man, because I had already done something similar. And Alan Moore is funny. There were, again, I can't remember all the things I did, but I remember there were a couple of jobs that he sent to me, and then I would read it, and I was like, why did he send this to me? And then I did it, and it turned out I was right for it. That one, the one he sent, it was like, I want it drawn in a Max Fleischer style. And I'd never done a Max Fleischer style. And I was like, why would you want me to do a Max Fleischer style? I've never done it. You could call, Stephen DiStefano. He does a good Max Fleischer style. And but then I did it, and it turned out he was right, and he knew what he had a good eye for that kind of thing. So that was the long answer to that. Let's see. Join. Comic fall into the show don't tell category of storytelling. I agree. I do not like a lot of yapping especially in a superhero comic. If the guy's called the Flash, he should be running around. I don't want to read a book about a guy called the Flash who talks all day. That was my pet peeve when I worked on what the hell was the mutant book? New Mutants. I worked on New Mutants for a year. They didn't get into a fight until the 12th issue. Just as I was quitting, some giant robots busted down the door. I was like, well, why couldn't I get that job? Why couldn't I do the giant robot story? That would have been fun. But it was mostly them sitting around talking about how tough it is to have superpowers, and nobody loves mutants or whatever. There we go. Oh, she's got the... okay. I'm trying to decide. She actually has some, these little belt things coming off of her. Okay, let me clean that hand up. It's such a clean layout right now that I'm worried that when I add the belt, it's going to busy it up and make something hard to read or look like an extra limb. But I am going to do it anyway. And we'll see what happens. Get my brush back. Here we are. The box of wonders. What is in the box of wonders? There it is. Sweet. And this will be it. Yeah. See, it almost gets too busy, but that's okay. Just clean her up. Clean her up. Oh, she got... Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. She's got goofy socks going on there. My main concern right now is that I don't want... See there where the legs cross, you don't want this weird tangent to happen. You want to make sure it's clear that the leg is in front of the other leg. I'm going to put a little bit of... There. That did it. I just do my little touch-ups now. I'm basically done. I just want to... All right, that's it. Here, let me see if I can get it into focus. Can we get it into... So that's what that looks like. That is Free Fall from Gen 13. And I will autograph it and cut it down and put it in a nice card holder. I have a very nice card holder. What did I just say I was looking for? Oh, autograph. Okay, here we go. There. All right, that is it. Free Fall. Now we're going to run it. Excitement. Nah, I have to. Hold on. Don't think I included sketch card. Oh, look at that. It's there. I outsmarted myself. All right. I almost didn't put the sketch card today. All right, here we are. Start auction. I'll hold it up to the camera so you can appreciate it. Here we go. There, the beauty. There she is. It's running. 22 seconds of beauty. And it's fun. I always have trouble holding this on the camera because, you know, when it goes left, it goes like, you know what I mean. All right, there. 1 second left. Done. Done. JT Murdoch. Thank you, JT Murdoch. And since you are a repeater, would you like the sketchbook or the Deathcathlon comic? Wait, let's just say empty. I am lucky enough to have 2 of the sketches in the sketchbook, and I'm bidding on a copy of the sketchbook with an original sketch on the cover. I am doing that now. Here we go. That is the next one. MP Devil. It's happening. The comic, please. Okay. So Deathcathlon, I'm writing that down. Well, I've got it in the chat. I'll remember. I'll remember because nobody's asked for the sketchbook today. All right. Here we go. Already got a fingerprint on there. Next thing you know, those people use my sketch to open the phone. Here we go. And I'm reading all the comments, catching up. Oh, look at my bald spot. That's exciting. Comic fall into the show, don't care. Yeah, I don't mind exposition, but it has its place. She looks great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. And now, Isaiah Bradley. That's what it was. And I'll be right back. I gotta pick up my pen. There it is. Everything. Pencil, pen, and stylus. Here, unpin the product. There. Pencil. These are all the things I knocked down today. Pen. Stylus. These all, because my table's at an angle. That's why everything rolls off of it eventually. Okay. Put my drawing board back on my lap. Turn the camera back on. We've done it. Let's see. Do you have a stand? Okay, I got it. Jumping around. Wonder if they make a bald spot filter for whenever I do that. Okay, now. Dun dun dun. I'm gonna do like a Jack Kirby type of pose. Head, shoulder, shield. My printer does not offer the uncoated option, so the pencils do not stick very well, which is fine. Doesn't matter. I can still see it. Really want to do a Kirby pose. Oh, I'll put the shield here. Again, breaking my own rule. If this arm is in front, the other leg is in front. Okay, that's good enough. This is gonna be interesting. There's not much pencil. I'm sure I've got it. Mm-hmm. Just trying to decide if he's got a fist or an open hand. Feeling like an open hand today. . That's his knee. See, if I don't pencil, I have to kind of build it in my head. And, okay. Mm-hmm. Sweet. Mm-hmm. The shield. All right. That's kind of a star. All right. And FYI, when I do a face without, because I didn't pencil it, I just dummied it in. I started with the eyes because a rule of thumb for good-looking characters is symmetry. That's what makes people good-looking. So, good-looking people, theoretically, have the eyes exactly in the center of the head. Like if you look at this oval, the eyeball right exactly in the center of the head, and then the exact. I got a beard, so it's screwing me up, but exactly between the chin and the eyes is the nose, and then exactly halfway between the nose and the chin is the mouth. So that's how I bullshitted my way through that since I didn't have any pencils. There. There we go. Okay, that is the outline. And I'll go back in and put on the black with our brand new giant brush. Take the cap off the ink. See what's going on. Already loving it. Thank you. Yeah, it's a character I've done a lot. If you've drawn a character like 100 times, it gets easier. You could probably draw them in my sleep. The Shadow. I've drawn a lot of shadows. I could do that one. Deadpool. I've done a lot of Deadpools. One of these days, I'm going to do some Rugrats. A lot of people don't know I used to do the Rugrats strip in the newspaper. I thought it'd be fun to draw some of those. I haven't done that. Gosh, it might be 20, 25 years. However old my daughter is, that's when I was doing it. That's why I did it. I wanted something I could show the other parents in the playground that wasn't like incredibly violent. So, when I'm making friends, I'm like, hi, I'm a cartoonist. I do this. Here's a picture I drew of a guy getting his head cut off. Can my kid play with your kid? I didn't think that was going to, so I did the Rugrats, and then I could introduce myself as the guy who draws Rugrats. Oh, and that was something I didn't write. So yeah, I guess I do a lot of stuff that I don't write. But comics, these days at least, I do for fun. Comics are not. They're not as they don't sell as big as they used to. Comic books back in the 80s, we used to sell six figures. 100,000 copies or more. Nowadays. So I do it because I enjoy it. But generally, if I'm doing something that I'm being paid for, I do what the writer tells me. Like I say, I did that Nike ad. Part of the reason you get these jobs is because you don't make trouble. There's a lot of guys out there who are, very talented and very popular, and they're divas, and nobody wants to deal with them. People work with me because I don't make trouble if I don't care. Again, if it's a book I care about, like my books, don't screw around with my books. I love my books. I'm not changing the end of any of them. Like Nat Turner. The reason I self-published it was because I wasn't gonna have it edited anyway. So I said, I did the book completely, and then I just shopped it after I finished the book and published it. Then I took it to different publishers and said, look, this is the book. If you like it, buy it. If you don't want it, I'm not editing it. I'll just take it somewhere else. And Charlie Kochman at Abrams said he liked it and wouldn't change it. So that's the way I like to work now. Remember Gilbert Hernandez years ago asked me at a comic convention, because all these guys, make movies and stuff like that. Like Hellboy, we were talking about Hellboy before. And so Gilbert said, hey, how come you've never done like a movie or TV show or anything of your characters? I was like, because I'd rather ruin other people's stuff. It breaks your heart to see something you made up end up as a terrible TV show. I'd rather take some other guy's comic and turn it into a terrible TV show. Break his heart. Yeah, this I do for fun. I enjoy it. Makes me happy. Yeah. See, the ink's kind of beading up in an interesting way because of the coated stock. And I don't mind. I try to I keep an open mind about materials and just try to work with whatever the material is. So if it's a watercolor and it goes down a certain way, you can use that quality. One of the things I was saying I like about the dry brush is it has the quality. You can't do dry brush on this coated stock, but when I have a dry brush or a split brush, I try to use those qualities of the tool instead of fighting with the tool. Don't I see too many guys, like, you know, try to make computers look like they're not computers or something. It's just, you know, if you got pastel, put it down like a pastel. Don't put it down like a watercolor. It's not going to work. You know, if you want a sharp line, for example, use acrylics. But if you want like a nice blurry line, then use a pastel or colored pencil or something. So I'm just using the interesting beading quality that you're getting this. So you figure it's gonna be, some parts are gonna be darker and some parts. So if we can have the dark parts down here at the bottom, it'll look like more shading. You know, it'll give it more turn to it. There. Yeah. All right, see, now I'm gonna end up blacking out this guy's leg because it's not receding enough. I want it to go back. It should look three-dimensional. It should look like he's coming at you. So we're gonna darken this up. I'll figure that out later. Yeah. Saw a post by Mike Manley, and I guess he was inking the Phantom or something like that. And he was talking about the old Wallywood maxim: "When in doubt, black it out." That was Wally's thing. Is if you can't figure this leg out, just paint it black, like Dick Giordano. Do the chainmail, the famous chainmail. Oh boy. At least think of it. Just wonder whose idea was the chainmail. Was that Joe Simon or Jack Kirby? Which one of these two guys am I mad at right now? You know what would stick to this better? Acrylic paint. Maybe the next one I'll try with acrylic paint. This is holding up. Just giving it its own look. There we go. Yeah. That's better. See, now I'm just looking and trying to make everything turn a little more. Give it more solidity. I want this hand to recede, so cast a shadow over the arm. Do not leave that highlight. That was stupid. I don't know why that was there. Here it comes. I've been putting off this hand. I need it to. I want it to Yeah, that's what I do. I look at the. Hold up my hand. All right. I think. Two. That's it. That's what I wanted. I was trying to get it to that. Sometimes you foreshorten these things and it looks short until you put the right shading on. It looked like he had like stubby fingers, which I didn't want. I wanted it to look like it's coming at you, like he's reaching it. Kirby did that so well, making things look like they were popping out of the drawing, you know? Three-dimensional. Oh, one of the other things I got, hold on. Yeah, just FYI, something I'm working on. I just bought. I bought 50 pairs of these things. So we're going to be doing a 3D comic book. I'm doing 50 copies of a 3D comic book, and I'm going to ship it with those things. I was inspired by the old Joe Kubert. I had a copy of Joe Kubert's tour when I was a kid. It belonged to my father. I found it in my grandmother's basement, along with some old Jack Kirby comics, and I just loved it. If you ever see 3D Tour, I don't know if they ever reprinted it, but there's a full page Tyrannosaurus that really looks like he's coming at you. It was great. It was a great effect. Anyway, so I'm going to do one of those. We've got many plans. Sarah and I sat around thinking of all the different things we can make. She wants to make shirts. What's the other thing? She remembers. She comes back to moderate. See, this is where it gets dangerous. This is the part where it's like, it's fine now. I could try to make it better. I'm going to try to make it better. But sometimes when you try to make it better, you jump the shark. But I want to give a little more roundness to his face. We shall see. Oh, that came out nice. Sure, I'm trying to figure out there. Give me a little more. I think it's gonna get blacker now that I look at it. Mm. It's better. Mm. Mm. More. More black. Every time. You start off with a lot of detail and I start erasing everything. It's getting blacker and blacker. Soon there will be nothing left. Should be fun. Yeah, I should one day I should just draw this Cheshire cat and then just just black him out. All right, I'm getting the water. There's my water. I don't know why I just shook that up. I think I was gonna drink it or something. All right, here we go. Put the top back on. I'm gonna put the top back on the ink. Is that the old lady? Hey, sweetie. I'm in the closet. What? It's got inventory. I'm on the show. I'm on the show, dear. She just came home from work. Say hi. She said hi to everybody. Everybody says hi, dear. Absolutely incredible. What's he running from? Towards Nazis. He's running towards Nazis. Captain America kills Nazis. That's what he does. I'm going to do a little more with that hand. This one. It's kind of sketchy. After I put the top back on the ink. All right, let me get the marker. I don't want to open the ink again. There. Captain America. Killing Nazis. Putting in weird textures for no reason. It's like weird textures. You know what? Do less. Do less. Get rid of things. Make it easier to read. Okay. Here comes the whiteout, and then that's the end. I just shook up my pen, the wrong pen. The whiteout pen. That's what I was going to do. All right. Clean up that star, make it a little starrier. Get his eye in there. I did. All right. clarify some things. People aren't wondering what's going on. There. I do. Somebody asked about original art the other earlier today. I have some Captain America pages. I'll show you those. I'll pull them out. I forgot I had those. I have the cover from the first Captain America comic I did. It's really tiny because I usually do sketches on Xerox paper. I do for every job, every cover or whatever. I'll do like 3 or 4 or 5 rough sketches to give the client a choice, to give them some options, and then they pick out the one that they like the best, and then I paint that one. I finish that one up and do a better version of it. But in the case of the first Captain America, it was a silhouette of Captain America, and he's in front of a red stripes, like from an American flag. And so I did a sketch, and it was a silhouette, and it was like 5-second silhouette, and I sent it off with 5 other drawings of different poses and different ideas, and they came back and they said, we like that silhouette one. And then I was going to tighten it up, and then I looked at it and I said, well, there's no point in tightening it up. It's a silhouette, so it's already done. And so I just scanned that, and then I put the stripes in with Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, red stripes. And so 20 years later or something, I was just going through some old stuff, and I found this tiny little drawing about this, and that is the original Captain America drawing that was published. Is this size. I'm never selling it. Yeah, I like that one, but I like to show it to people, so I'll show it to you guys. Now my white pen doesn't work. Here we go. Throwing a little reflective light here. This is like epoxy or whatever. You had to mix it up. You have to keep mixing. It's like those freaking spray cans when you Krylon. You have to shake it up all the time. Clean that foot up. Much tighter. It's coming together. Feeling a little better. That goes there. That goes there. Let's see what I did. All right. Almost done. Almost complete. There we go. That's got it. There was a little blockage. It's okay now. Oh, I see. That chainmail. It's maddening. I'm just double checking. I think I'm done-ish. Clean up that foot. Okay. Now I'm going to clean up the cleanup. I just shook the pen that doesn't need shaking. That's better. More definition. Where'd his knee go? There's the knee. Calf. That's the. I'm sorry. I was trying to remember the name of the muscle. Calf. The name of the muscle went right out of my head. Calf muscle. I think it's happening. I think it's done ish. I'll give him a little more jawline. Superhero should have a nice jaw. Strong jaw. Okay. There's too much happening over here. It's not necessary. Bye bye all that unnecessary stuff. I'm just getting silly and precious. Okay, I gotta stop doing this. All right, I'm done. Get that shield in there. Okay, I'm done. I say I'm done, but I don't finish. I'll say I'm done again, and it'll stick. All right. This stripe goes here. Does that look good to me? Let me look. Not seeing any mistakes. I look for mistakes. I draw until it stops being bad. That's the starts off terrible and then gets less terrible. All right, put the cow bigger. Okay, there we are. It's all done. I am going to run it. Well, I'm going to read my... Oh, bullets zipping by. I like that idea. Okay, I will have bullets zipping by. Got to get the ruler. See if we can do that. Oh. All right. I do like bullets zipping by. Bullets whizzing past him. All right. Bullet. Here's the little bullet. All right, I'm done. I'm gonna run that. I'm gonna get this fingerprint off. And then I'm gonna run it. Clean up, everybody everywhere. All right, that is it. I am going to run it now. Where is that? Sketch cover. Where did I put that? I guess I gotta find the sketch cover. Hold on. Sorry about this. For some reason I didn't list it today. It's in inventory. I'll find it. Give me a second. Comics. There we go. Inventory. Oh, I do have it. Okay, it's here. All right, it is listed. Give me a second. There it is. Found it. Product auctions. All right, start auction. I hope that MP Double is here. Okay, he's here. He pre-bid. Great. So this should go smoothly then. He did pre-bid. Good. I get a little lost sometimes. That's why Sarah's gonna help me moderate. I said you're going to help me moderate next week.
Okay.
She said,
Tell him I'm making you Indian food for dinner right now.
she's making me Indian food for dinner right now. So it's good. Made with real Indians. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! It went through. MP Devil, it went through. Thank you, MP Devil. And since I gave everybody the choice this week, well, you already got the sketchbook, so I'll send you the Deathcathlon comic because you already have the sketchbook and you don't need 2 sketchbooks. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I think that is I'm gonna wrap the show up today. 10:24. That wasn't bad. I might come back later this week or something. This went well. No technical glitches. I'm very happy. Whatnut Chuck sent me a message, sir. Let me look my message before I log off. See what the messages say. Just like the Hulk thing fighting tonight. Oh, okay. Great. Okay, Optimus Prime and Megatron. Oh, I love that idea. Optimus Prime and Megatron fighting, please. Now, do you want the old style, the style that I did on the Marvel comics? That's what I'll do. I'll draw it the way I drew the old Marvel comics. For November 23. Oh, yeah. He did. Okay. Great. All right. I will do that. I will do it. I'll come back. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow and do it. I'll see what my life is like. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am going to log off now. Thank you. Hold on. Open show. I just want to double check, make sure I took care of all the messages before I log off. I'm having way too many windows open. I sent a message to Kyle. Thanks for a fun stream. Knack Dead King. Okay, I'm able to love you. Thank you. Joined. Okay, I'm going to read Knack Dead King, and then I'm going to log off. Let's see what your message said. Inbox. Knack Dead King, 8.5 by 11. What you do, Lady Death from the old Chaos Comics Day and the Comic Comics. Okay, great. Okay, so those are going to be okay, I got my 2 drawings for the next one. I'm going to try and do it tomorrow. But I have to check with my family and make sure I didn't already commit myself to something tomorrow. If I did not commit to something tomorrow, I will do it tomorrow. This weekend I have to go see my mother. So the next available thing would be Monday. So I'll either see you tomorrow or Monday. I'm going to go now. I'm going to unpin this there so people can see me. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Thank you very much. Where can I go? How do I get out of this? Here we go. Any day now. End show. Okay.